Well, welcome again to A Life with the Lionesses series. And I'm absolutely thrilled to have an icon of women's rugby league, someone, and there wasn't many of them, who played in all 5 Great Britain international tours. So was in the squad and played in all 5 international tours, played for county, and also came from one of the very famous Barrow contingency who used to travel miles and miles in order to go for training and to play for their country and the county, and also for the club because it was never easy travelling from there. So welcome, Sally Milburn.
Nice to meet you. Cheers, Julia. Thank you.
Yeah, it's lovely to catch up with you again. So we were just having a bit of a chat around sort of where it all started and things like that. So when did you start? Were you born in Barrow? And when did you sort of start playing, and how old were you, and all that?
Yeah, I was born in Barrow, born and bred. Never left the area really. I think I started playing when I was about 18, around about 1993. There was a women's team that started originally in one of my old schools in Dalton, actually. They were at the age of just leaving. And when they left, they brought the team and they started up in Askham. I knew about it and that because we used to go to watch the lads play on Askham every Saturday. And I kept getting asked to go down. And I was one of these, oh, yeah, I'll go, but never ever did. And the things. Anyways, they came to my house and dragged me down there. And that was pretty much it. I started playing for Askham. I think I did about, played for maybe about 12, 18 months. And I think they did the trials at Lee. So we'd gone down there. I was relatively new, didn't know the rules massively. So we'd gone down there. I think there was about 4 players from Askham, and I think there was about 5 from Barrow had gone down, plus all the other clubs and that as well. So I'd gone down to these trials anyway, and did the day's trials in there, come back, hadn't heard anything for a while. And I actually got a letter. It was a letter that I hadn't actually made the squad, but they were going to take another look at me in another game. So I sort of left it like that really, and then I'd gone to, I think it was Hull. I think we were playing Hull, and Ian Harris came up, and he was watching the game. And that day, I think Flo had broke a leg that day, so they ended up putting us as fullback. Never played fullback in my life, and I'm like, right, this is totally not meant to be this. So anyways, I played this fullback position and that, and it was a lovely hot day and the things. Anyways, at the end of the day, at the end of the game, he comes up to me and says, oh, I said, I'll be giving you a ring. And then that was like the lad that I'd heard of it. And then he gave me a phone call and invited me down to the training, and it went from there really.
Oh, wow, what a journey. I didn't realise they hadn't picked you up at first. Wow, what a miss that would have been.
Yeah, I think a bit of an unknown, I think, at that time.
Yeah, absolutely. How awesome's that? And because obviously you played in the forwards, for those that don't know, and obviously in international rugby league that's just a formidable position, isn't it? Particularly playing Australia and the New Zealanders, it's a hard position, isn't it? Physical position.
Yeah, you can't hide anywhere in there and things. You're in it, unfortunately, with a thing. So you should take all the beatings. I think originally, I mean, I'd have gone and I'd have played any position as long as I got there and the things. And I think I didn't play. I think I mainly played loose forward. I think for Barrow, but Askham, sorry, because I moved to Barrow later on. And then I played loose forward, and then I think for the Great Britain side, I started off as prop. And then bit by bit, the couple of years after that, I moved to second row. And eventually, the older I got, I moved out to centre. But like I say, centre was one of my favourite positions, to be honest.
Yeah. And can you remember then so you've got the call up. What did you first of all, what did your family and friends think about it?
Yeah, well, my dad was really proud of me being picked. With it being like a rugby town village, with the things, it was very rugby orientated. So, yeah, they were really proud about it with the things. It's a massive achievement back there when we think about it. But I say everybody knew us, and they knew us of playing rugby. One of the things, you couldn't walk down the street without anybody. That was what I was known as, Sally, who played for GP. So,
Oh,
but yeah, that was
fantastic.
brilliant.
Oh, how brilliant's that? So you got the call up to go in the train squad. Tell us a bit more about the training and the preparation for Australia at 1996.
I think originally when the trials were, I think when I started playing 93, so I wouldn't been playing long. So I think we were training a good 18 months before the main squad was even selected. So although I hadn't made it into that original one, and then we were training ongoing for maybe 12, 18 months from there. And I used to go to work and like beg them for Saturdays off work. I used to do. I used to only get one Saturday off every 5 weeks, so I used to go to them and go, "Can I have Saturday off for work? I've got to go down to training and that lot." And they were like, "Yeah." So they sorted it, or I'd get somebody else to work for me, and then we'd travel mainly 2-3 hours sometimes to get down to training. And we'd spend the all day down in various places from Leeds, Sheffield, sometimes Hull. We went everywhere when we were training. And then that was mainly once a month, I think we were training at that particular that time. So we did all that, and then I think we had a few warm-up games in the end. And then after that, I think, I'm trying to remember now many things. I think that's when they picked the original squad, maybe about a month before we were going. So all that time that we were travelling up and down, and that, none of us ever knew if we were properly in the squad, because we always knew that there was going to be 4 that didn't get to go. So it was, but it was good. It was really good. Met a lot of good friends there as well.
Yeah, yeah, and there was the Barrow contingent, wasn't there? So how many of there was at that time? The first.
On the very first tour to 96, there was me and Flo from Askham that went, and I think in the Barrow squad, I think there was Ali Liz.
I think that was it actually.
Now when the
Yeah,
things
yeah.
Ali Liz, Sandra Wade as well.
Ah, yeah.
She went on the first tour as well. So there was like 5, but we all used to travel down together, and there's 5 of us traveling wherever in in this small car. We'd all meet up and go down. But I always remember one time when we went, there was a factory just down the road from us, and they made these blades, rugby blades. There was the new thing out then, obviously, you think going back to 1996. So we got a pair to trial for as part of like sponsorship and stuff like that. So we went down, everyone's going, "Oh, they're great." So everybody, 26 people ordered these rugby boots and the things. And the day that they came, we were travelling down to Hull. And you can imagine how far, that's 4 hours, isn't it? When it's in. So we had 26 pairs of blades travelling down, 5 of us in a car with all these boots and all the way down. But it was brilliant. It was, they were good days.
Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, that's awesome. And did you get commission then?
No, we didn't get commission or anything. No, but like I say, it was all part of like that sponsorship and that, wasn't it? I think they were only about £20 a pair back then, when the things. But like I say, it was all part of us all trying to raise money and that to do it. So it was they got our picture in the paper with them with the pair of boots. So it was that they were happy in that.
Oh, brilliant. So fundraising then. So did you have to do a bit of fundraising to go?
Fundraising, yeah, we did. I think on the first tour, I think we had to raise something like £1,300 to go with. I worked for the Royal Mail at that time when things, in all fairness, they were quite good, but they got the main of my sponsorship through there. But we had to do all sorts of other fundraising, as in we helped each other out when the things. So, like I say, we had a couple of that were struggling to do it, so we used to help each other out just to make sure that everybody could go on the tour. But we were fundraising all over. We were always in the paper for something, But a lot of people, like even people in the street and that, they'd come up, they give you £50 to go, and that's how proud they were if you used to go, and that it was brilliant. It was nice.
Oh,
So
that's lovely. That's giving me
yeah,
goosebumps, that people just coming
yeah,
up to you.
yeah, they did. When the things, there was a lot of people. I mean, people were proud when the things. I mean, we being a rugby town and that, like, they were proud.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's lovely. So you go on tour. So had you been on a plane before? Had you toured? Had you been anywhere abroad, or was it the first time on a plane?
no, I had been abroad. Like I'd been to like Greece and Spain, but nothing prepared as to what the flight was going to be like in Australia. I think it was something like 26 hours in total, and yeah, I remember it wasn't as bad because we had like 30 seats in there. Everybody just swapped around seats, and like they got bored of one person, they've gone like talk to someone else, but it was it was a tough flight. I don't think anyone prepared themselves for what that flight was going to be like. It was quite rough. I remember when we got there as well. One of the things, there's only me that could have jet lag when we go. One of the things, and I remember that they were trying to get us back into a routine of getting back to like being in the time thing of Australia and that. And I think it was that night they'd all arranged a time to go. There was only, I think it was me, Julie Cronin, and that. There was only us that could sleep in for it at some like 5 o'clock at tea time. Where the things were forever getting told off for sleeping in. But I blame the jet lag 100%.
It is a hell of, I mean, you can do it a lot quicker now, but I know the cost of the flights and things, you had to go the cheapest way. And, that 26-hour flight was the only way to do it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So you got there and you started playing in Australia. Tell us a bit about your memories around that particular, because it is a particular iconic tour.
Yeah, I remember, like I say, we touched down in Australia. I know we went to Sydney, Brisbane, and Canberra. Um, I wouldn't be able to tell you the exact hotels with the things, but we got into training quite quick. We were out training. I think a lot of us when we first went, I think we all got a bit of a shock because I think some of us thought we were going on a holiday as well, which it didn't turn out to be. We were like constantly training. It was hard going was the training, but it was fun as well. We had loads of functions, and like they say, with the tour, that was memorable. Obviously, we won that. It was. They were quite on par with us with Australia with the things, but it was like I said, we won the first test. I think they won the second test, and then the third test. That was a tough game. That really was a tough game. But I think we weren't coming away from there and not winning. You know what I mean? We put everything on the line for that game. But it was it was fantastic, brilliant feeling.
Yeah. And actually you played 7 games and only lost one in that tour,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
phenomenal. And you're actually the last team to ever beat Australia in a 3-test series, male or female team. So
No, it's
men or women. So it's a pretty
definitely.
great,
Um,
great achievement. So
I can
can
hold
you remember?
I can hold fame to scoring the first ever test try as well. Me, I've got the photo of that somewhere as
Ah,
well.
have you? Oh, I'd
Yeah,
love to see that. I'd love to
yes,
see that.
I have got that somewhere. When I think it might even be on Facebook, to be honest. But I've definitely it was the first ever test scorer that was. And I think
Yeah.
that's
Oh.
my claim to fame anyway.
One of your many, because as I
Yeah.
say, there's not many that did all 5 tours, so that's pretty phenomenal as well. So you won the Ashes, lots of celebrations. You came home. What was it like coming home?
Um, I don't know really. With the things, I mean, we were still in. We were all buzzing. Us. I mean, we won the Ashes. It was a massive achievement, wasn't it? Winning things, but I suppose when we came back home, everything was just going back to normal, wasn't it? When the things, they were just like, oh yeah, well done, with the things, But it was but there's nothing like what the England lasses got with the football anyway. I think we played in a different generation. It was just hitting off then, wasn't it?
Yeah. So did you get any accolades or anything to say, look at your achievement?
No, not on the first tour or anything. One of the things I remember in 2002, that tour to Australia, I actually got 2002 Sports Personality of the Year for Barrow. One of the things that's
Oh,
probably one of my
fantastic.
biggest achievements, and that was the 2002 tour. Well, that was probably one of my favourite tours. Actually, that was a good tour, that one.
Yeah. So you came home and was the recognition, you've talked earlier off camera about your Wembley visit.
Wembley visit, yeah, one of the things. Yeah, so we all got invited down to Wembley for recognition of winning the Ashes and that. We got the bus down there. we got to Wembley, and then we found out what we were doing. There was all those Great Britain squad, and we had to wear these little white tracksuits with white baseball caps on. And what we did was carry a silk cut flag, one of things, and I still laugh about it now. It was quite funny, but I mean, and we danced around the pitch to certain songs. I have to try to think what a few of them were, one of things, but I mean, it was fun. It was good. We'd have never got to do it any other way. So you take the good, don't you, out of it. One
Yeah,
of
of
things, it
course you
was
do.
fun. We had a fantastic time there. One of the things yeah, we certainly knew how to party. Put it that way.
So you've won the Ashes, you've come home. What next? You go ready. What's the preparation for the next tour?
Yeah, well, I'll say
1998.
that was 96 one of things, and it pretty much started over again, pretty much really. One of things we started training for the 98 tour. I don't think any of us had that much time off for preparation of it, maybe a few months, and then we went straight back into the training. And then it was just like a cycle. One of the things we carried on, we trained every month. Still, none of us ever knowing properly whether we were in the squad or anything. It was, although you were doing the training, and then a couple of months before you went, we found out that we were going to got picked, and we went to New Zealand. That was a tough tour. It was New Zealand sort of things, and definitely we knew we were there then when that done. I think we got thrashed, to be honest. One of the things. I don't know what we were expecting when we went out there. I think I don't know. I think we thought that there would be a lot like the Aussies when the things, and it was like first 10 minutes into the game, it was like, wow, this is tough. This is really tough. When the things, I mean, they were a different league at that time. When the things that you couldn't we couldn't compete with them back then. When the things. I think, but I mean, it was still good. It was a different culture and everything in New Zealand. We wouldn't have got there any other way. But no, it was tough, and we came back from there, and we took a lot of positives out of it with the things, and then we prepared ourselves for the 2000 tour after that.
Mm.
So 2000 tour, that was really good. I think we had quite a strong side there. I don't know whether that was mainly because of the travelling side of things, and I mean, there was people there with families and things as well, so they could go on the 2000 tour but couldn't do the previous ones. I think a couple of them had dropped out of the 98 one at that time through family circumstances and stuff. So we had a strong squad there with things, and I think we came up to New Zealand again. And although we never beat them, I think we got somewhere like 26-12, I think was the closest. And I think that's the closest we ever got to them. But we definitely progressed a lot from that 98 tour for that 2001. But no, that was a good tour. And there was, for back then, when the things, we had quite a lot of support and that from certain grounds and stuff which looked after us. We had all the best gear as well for that tour, which was good.
Did improve, didn't it? Actually, Phil
It
Clark,
did.
his Rugby.com, I think it was. Phil Clark sponsored all your gear. There was some really nice stash, wasn't there?
Yeah,
That
there
year.
was. And I remember playing one of them in New Zealand, and at that time I didn't wear shoulder pads or anything, but because it was all there, we were like, yeah, we'll have shoulder pads, we'll have this and the things. Anyways, I think we were playing New Zealand actually on the 2000. I think it was a New Zealand game, and I was like, no, I'm not wearing them shoulder pads. I'll be fine. Literally about 5 minutes into the game, I like hit this Maori, and I'm like, oh, but that my shoulder had gone or anything. So I ended up playing the rest of the game one-handed. I kept looking at the side going, someone going to take me off? And then Paula Clark, was it Paula? When there was a guy from Leeds there that was doing the physio, and he strapped it all up. But it was great once he strapped it up. I was like, things we do. I still have trouble with that now.
Playing with one arm.
Yeah, I know.
Against the Kiwis.
I know, I'm thinking someone going to take me off here.
Brilliant.
The magic sponge and the tape and that, it worked fine after that. So once he strapped it back up, it was fine. So I managed to play the rest of the games. I'm just trying to think, because it was Australia and New Zealand that one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a World Series, and you beat Australia twice again.
Yeah. But we were quite on par with Australia and ourselves. I think it could have gone either way, to be honest, with Australia and New Zealand, but not Australia and ourselves, sorry. So it was always, we were definitely on par. I don't think anybody really knew who would win them games because it was that close, but it was the fear for us, I think, was New Zealand at that time.
Yeah, pretty phenomenal, weren't they?
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, they were fantastic.
Yeah.
Anything else? Even the wingers were like props. They really were. But no, they were really good.
And great to have a home tour. Great to play at home in front of your home crowd.
Yeah, and it was. And like I say, at least some of your family came down, because I mean, back then we got videos. Well, that was our memories of them. We brought video, because I haven't even got anything to play them on now. I have got them, but I haven't got anything to play them on. I think somebody put some on that Rugby League Cares, didn't they? For a bit, like I say, they were good to watch. I was like, look, there's me. I did play, look. But when somebody put them on, so I kept looking for a few more of them. But yeah, no, they were, my family, and I think they got a coach down from here. I think they booked a coach and they all went down to support us. I think that was in, just trying to think, where was it? Oral
was, yeah, one of the games was Oral. The final against the Kiwis was at Warrington.
At Warrington,
but you did play a game against the Kiwis as well at Oral.
Yeah, I think that was the one where we were closest to him. I think that's the one that I remember, because I think it's the one we got closest to him on there. But I remember him getting a couple of coaches down, and for them all coming out to watchers and supporters and that. But no, it was good. It really was.
Lovely memories. And then you went in. You weren't just happy with that. You went in again for some more.
Yeah,
didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I always remember that 2000 tour. At that time, there was obviously Flo was still playing. Ali, I think, was playing. I think Liz might have dropped out from 2001. And then it's sort of like the 2000 tour happened, and then everyone sort of retired, should I say, or packed in. I mean, I wasn't ready to pack in then. I was like, I didn't want to pack in. I was still having the time of my life, mate. I was loving it, you know what I mean? And so it was sort of, I carried on at that time playing. I mean, it was hard. It was hard traveling from down here for like 2.5. It's a bit different when you've got people to travel down with. So I was traveling down. If it wasn't for Lisa Mack and that at that time, because we used to just use her house as an hotel, bless her. When I think she just let us stay there and that, when things. But it was tough to go down there when things are traveling. But we did it because I loved it at that time when things, and then we did the 2000 tour, and off we went to Australia again.
In 2002.
2002, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we did that tour. I think Lisa was still on that tour there on the 2002. That was one of my favourite tours, in all honesty. With the things, I really enjoyed that. We were bringing quite a few youngsters through. I think we had a really good side at that time. And then we didn't win, but it was definitely a fix. There's the referees.
Being referees.
Yeah, it was like it was that game seemed to go on forever. That one, I think, was it at Brisbane? I remember it was Brisbane, but I think it was something like, just trying to think when the things, just trying to think what that was. I think they won 14-10 on the final test, didn't they? When the thing was, but it was like that. I remember it going on for ages. The referee was giving us nothing. we weren't happy at all that day. But it was what it was anyway. When the things, and anyways, we came back with the things, but it's all experience, isn't it? And then went on the tour on 2003. Just after that, when I think that was a quick turnaround, because that was literally 12 months after we did the 2002, and then we're literally straight back into it, getting sponsorship and everything again.
And how was that?
It was, we got it. We managed to get it with the things, and but I think work at that time where I was working, I think they were starting to lose patience with me at that time, because if you think about it, like it was, what was it, 95, probably 8 years of me constantly asking for Saturdays off, and doing like sponsorship and fundraising and the bits. So I think they were losing the patience towards the end. I mean, there's only so long they can support you for it, isn't it? When the things, and then it's, well, I said, well, we did it and we got there with the things, but it wasn't easy to go with the things. I think at that time in the 2003, I think I'd sickened myself that much with it all and working full time at that time and doing. I was like, I'll go on this tour with the things. That's it. I'm not playing when I come back. I am definitely not playing with the things. I am leaving my boots in New Zealand and I'm not bringing them back. And that's pretty much what I did, to be fair. When the things. But I always remember on that last tour, Frank Endicott was there when the things, and he made this what they call a dream team when the things, and I was dead proud when the things on there, because I made it into the World 17, so that was like like a parting gift with the things. So I got I think it was me and Sam Brook. I think there was 11 Kiwis in it, a couple of Aussies in it, and me and Sam Brook in it. But that was really good. When I think I've got a trophy for that somewhere.
Oh, I'd love to see that. Yeah, that is such an honour, Sally, and testament to what a great player you were.
Yeah, no,
you were a phenomenal player. And 2002, you got Barrow Sports Personality of the Year. And let's not forget.
No, yeah, I know that was fantastic as well. I had to go to an awards ceremony for that, and I got a shield and everything for that, and but no, it was really good for the things. When you look back on what you've done and what you've achieved, it's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, you think, what were the toughest bits for you? What was the hardest bits for it?
The hardest bits for me were probably the travelling in the end of it all. Was it didn't bother me when I was like, when we were, there was a few of years when the things, but the toughest part for me was certainly the travelling from like 2002 down to 2003. I mean, it was hard. It was, we were travelling. I was setting off at like 5 a.m. sometimes, 5:30, and then doing a full day's training, coming back home, and pretty much going to bed and what have you, and then getting up and getting on the bus to go play again. So one day I'd be in Leeds, and the next day I'd be in Hull, and things. I was just up and down that motorway. But that was the hardest part, I think, in the end of it all, was certainly from where we lived round here, and it was the travelling and what have you. It was, if it was a little bit closer to home, sometimes it might not have been too bad. I always remember Ian Harris, actually, when the things, I think it was Ian Harris and Anne Thompson at that time in the first tour. They were fantastic, really, because they dragged everybody from the club, all the Great Britain side, when the things, who only had like 20 minutes to travel, and they dragged them up to Askham, funny enough, when the things, and but they did it just so people knew how hard it was for us lot to be travelling down there. But there was such a happy bunch that day.
Yeah, and do you know, it is, because it's not just coming off the M6, is it? It's another hour off the M6.
Yeah,
You think you're there. I know when I used to referee there, I used to think, oh, nearly there. And then it was another hour from the motorway. So it
yeah.
is a hell of a trek, isn't it?
Yeah, it's no easy task with the things, but it didn't bother me with the things at the start with the things, but like you say, everything takes its toll after a while, doesn't it?
Yeah.
With the things,
Yeah.
but it's certainly the travelling with the things, the playing wise, and that I play all day. I loved it.
Yeah. So that's back to me now. What's the positive side of your international career? Now you're looking back and we're beginning to get all that of your superb achievements internationally.
Well, all the positive side was just playing and being a part of the GB squad in itself. I mean, you met fantastic people, a lot of friends, some of them lifelong friends with the things, and I don't think unless you're like in a team like that, when the things I said, I don't think anybody sort of understands like the friendships and that you gain from them. But it was brilliant. You'll never get them days back when the things, as much as we'd love to. When the things, they were a fantastic team. They really
Yeah,
were.
absolutely.
All of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's lovely memories. When you look now, look back on what you've achieved, what do you think?
Oh, it's definitely an achievement. I'm definitely proud of everything I achieved when the things. I mean, like you say, 5 tours. It's brilliant, isn't it? When the things are, if I'd have loved to have been able to go on forever if I could with the things, but obviously age catches up with you as well a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But no, it's no. I'm definitely proud when the things. I wouldn't change a thing. I really wouldn't change a thing. I
Yeah.
don't think anybody would that went on them tours.
And Dream Team, that
Dream team.
2003 Dream Team, and
Yeah,
Barrow Sport Personality of the Year. How awesome is
yeah.
that?
No, I know it is
Absolutely
really good when the
phenomenal.
things when you think about it that way. When the things it's definitely an achievement. When the things yeah, I'd speak to there's a lass that I work with which works in the same place as me. She plays now for Barrow, but all them years ago. She was only about 12 and she used to come training with us. And she was so keen with the things and that, and absolutely keen. Anyway, she was just getting to 14 at that time and she was going to be allowed to play with the things. And then they changed the age limit to 16, didn't they? So she had to wait another 2 years. And I felt so sorry for her when the things was when she was just coming of age to play and everybody packed in and the team folded not long after. But she's like the captain of the Barrow squad now when the things
Oh,
and
fantastic.
I seen her at work, live, and she was like, "You're gonna come and play for us, I was like, yeah, Geordie, no, I'm 46, Geordie, and things. That's what I was. So I'm really not. I was like, oh, you'll be fine. We've got such and such in there. They're 42 and things. And I'm like, Geordie, my head says I'd love to, mate, but my body tells me something else. But I feel quite honoured and humbled, like you think I can still play. But it just shows like these youngsters how they look up to you, isn't it?
Oh, that is, and rightly so as well, Sal. Rightly so, because
Yeah.
you are a phenomenal legend. And what would you say to those young people coming now, with what the way women's sports going? What would your advice be to them?
No, if they get the chance, go and do it. When the things, you'd be daft to turn something like that down. When the things, go and do it, go and live it. When the things, enjoy it as well. When the things, but yeah, no, I would recommend anybody to go and do it. I really would.
Yeah, Sally, it's been an absolute pleasure. You are one of my legends in
No,
the whole of this, and it's been so lovely catching up with you.
yeah, Andrew.
You're so unassuming with what your achievements are, and they are phenomenal achievements. So congratulations on that,
No,
and
thank you.
thank you for being part of the project.
No, thank you. It's good to catch up with you.